And the saddest news of the day, Twinkies are gone. The golden sponge cake with a creamy filling. Snack classic. The reason why I bring this up right after the oil spill is because I believe a lot of this is petrochemical based.
Yeah, it's made from petroleum product.
I bet a lot of it is.
Sure.
What?
I bet a lot of it
is, too.
I bet a lot of it is.
I bet it is. Either comes from Dow or Huntsman Chemical, one of those. But don't get me wrong, it's still delicious.
Almost everything is. Okay, I'm just reading the instructions. They fired the unions. If you want to know what the fiscal cliff, you want to, hey, we can negotiate. We can compromise. Really? The unions are involved with the fiscal cliff. And the unions are the ones that said to 18,500 employees that work for Hostess, you're better off not having a job than taking an 8% pay cut. How many of those 18,500 workers would rather have a job today? How many of them?
Got to be all of them.
You would think a lot of them.
At least until, okay, let's say you're pissed off about the 8% pay cut, and you know, who wouldn't be? But you'd rather have the job. So you at least keep the job with the 8% pay cut until you can find something else that you're happy with. You certainly wouldn't want to be out of a job completely and making $0. I mean, you know, think about that. If you're working at Hostess and you're making $50,000 a year, an 8% pay cut is what? You'd be making $47,000 then? So instead of making $47,000 a year rather than $50,000, you'd rather make $0 a year? How does that make sense in anyone's world?
Warning, the unions want joblessness now. They needed to have it look like there were lots of jobs, but now it works to the advantage of the president to show how bad the economy is going and to have more joblessness. It works to the advantage because it creates unrest. It creates a need for a savior. It creates a need for big government to bail people out. It cripples things. You don't want businesses at this point going well. You want to be able, you need it to go one step further. They want the fiscal cliff. I'm convinced they want the fiscal cliff. It was their idea. It was their idea. You're not negotiating. I have no problem negotiating and compromising on things. I won't compromise my value, but compromise is important. But you don't compromise with people who are suicidal. And you don't compromise with people who are not honest brokers. You need an honest broker at the table. Hostess was not negotiating with an honest broker. An honest broker says, look, we want you to be in business. We want you to be in business. We know you've gone bankrupt a couple of times. We want you to be in business because it's good for our people. We have 18,500 families. Think of that. 18,500 families. We want you to be in business. So let's negotiate. Now, come on. Really? There's nothing else you can do? There's nothing else we can do. We're bankrupt. You don't let somebody go out of business like that. If you're an honest broker, they're not honest brokers. By the way, I don't know if I've ever actually eaten a Twinkie before. Ding dongs I love. Boy,
you've had to have that spongy goodness. You've had to have that in the past.
Okay, first,
come on, how bad? It's a sponge cake with whipped cream in the middle.
Some food that
there's no whipped cream in it, and I don't know if that's actually cake.
It's whipped cream.
Some
but
food
it's
that you're saying is petrotechnology. You don't smell it, just eat it.
Yeah. See, it's good, right?
See,
that's goodness.
See,
that's gooey goodness, spongy gooey goodness.
Oh, we can't let this go out of business.
Hello,
I know.
I mean, where am I going to get? Seriously, where am I going to get my daily
sodium
dose?
benzoate?
Where am I getting my daily dose of that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where can I get my?
Where are you going to get that?
Where can I get my polysorbate 60?
And how often do you go into a restaurant and you say, I'd really love some of your, is your polysorbate 60 fresh today? Or they
say, when they say, could I just have a bowl of modified whey and diglycerides?
You know what's good with that, though? Sorbic acid, because it retains the freshness.
Oh, I love that.
Huh?
And it retains the freshness for like 65 years. I mean, it really is good at
so you want a
retaining
lot of
freshness.
sorbic acid is what you want.
Hey, Mark,
You want to pour sorbic acid over just about everything.
Could you open the safe,
You
please?
do. Because I'm thinking of a couple people today already.
Okay, I can't eat more than one of these because I don't want to live this long.
Yeah, it'll.
Because I believe I will retain my freshness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, just a minute. This is an important moment because I have one of the last Twinkies, I believe, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
We looked all over the place for these, and they were tough to find. And so we're going to deposit them now into the Liberty safe, where you know they will continue to exist for the next millennia.
Oh, my gosh, just Twinkies? Here, take my ding-dongs. Yeah, I'm just...
I'd be careful of that phrase, but... Okay, so we have Hostess Twinkies and Hostess Ding Dongs.
Yes.
Now, if you're just listening to this on the radio, going into the Liberty safe right now.
Guns, gold, forget about it.
We got Hostess Twinkies.
Hello. And
So,
ding-dongs.
when the apocalypse comes down and there's nothing but roaches, there'll be Hostess Twinkies for the roaches.
And the
to feast
Twinkies,
on.
I
If
believe...
they know the combination of the safe.
I think the Twinkies were supposed to save us from the zombie apocalypse, so
Really?
we could be in big trouble if the company closes for good.
Was it Twinkies that were going to save us?
I mean,
Wonder Bread gone,
Retain
Twinkies
freshness.
gone. I mean, that's a really big deal. I mean,
that is.
Well, who was it that said? Reminds me of a saying we once heard.
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We're going to have to change our conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
Was this their plan all along? Make sure the Hostess Ding Dong Twinkie plant closed.
it is kind of a sad day. I
very sad
think
day.
maybe the first Twinkie I've ever had, but Ding Dongs I love, and I never eat them, but I love Ding Dongs as well. It's kind of a sad day.
Ho-Hos, too. Where are the Ho-Hos?
Ho-Hos are gone. Wonder Bread is gone.
Wonder Bread builds body in 12 different ways. How are bodies going to be built in those 12 now? We don't know. They stumbled on Wonder Bread in the 50s, and now they've not replaced it with anything.
Science, wait a minute. Hold on just a sec. Wonder Bread builds bodies 12 different ways?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No.
Helps build the
Are
body
you
good.
Are you
Right.
confusing it? Are
Something
you
like that,
confusing
yeah.
it with Soylent Green?
No.
All right.
No, that's people. Wonder Bread is not people.
It's sorbic acid.
No, it's the sorbic acid that keeps the people fresh.
Changing their freshness.
You slice people into little loaves. You don't recognize them as people anymore. If you put a nice,
Especially if you put some cream in there.
yeah, and what you do is you put little dots and little colored dots all over the bread. That's why Wonder Bread came in a white bag, so you couldn't see the bread itself because you'd be like, man, that looks like my Aunt Helen.
Wonder Bread is people.
That's why they're out of business today. See, good guys lose in the end. Here's our sponsor.